Hi, We the people. Today we are going to look at several of the different steps that you need to take to get ready for We the People in the fall and complete your summer assignment. The first step is to create a Google Drive account. This is very easy. If you already have a Gmail account, it's the exact same name and password that you would use. If you don't have a Google Drive account, you can create one for free and then move on to our next step, which is actually accessing Google Drive. Once you've logged into Google Drive, the first thing you want to do is create a We the People folder that you can submit work directly to me and also create items alongside of your classmates. So in order to do that, you need to go to New, click on Folder, and save it as you would per the instructions of your summer assignment on the We the People website. So WTP and your last name. Once you've created the folder, the next step is to share it with me. Click on this little button up here that looks like a person with a plus sign, and then type in my email address, meganboimann@gmail.com. Please don't use my school address, as everything that I do in my life goes back to this Gmail account. Make sure that I can edit your folder and everything inside of it, because this is the way that you're going to receive comments and grades and recommendations from me throughout the summer and also throughout the school year starting in August. Once you're finished there, hit send. And it's as easy as that. Eventually, once I get an email from you, you will also gain access to the We the People shared folder, which is the platform you will use to collaborate with me and your classmates all school year. To find that folder, click on Shared with Me, and you should see, after you send me your initial email, a folder that says We the People 2015-2016 on that. Right now it's empty, but as the school year progresses and as the summer progresses, you will find a series of documents and presentations that will help you along your path. The next step is to get access to the U.S. Constitution that you need to annotate based on the 8 key essential elements of American constitutionalism. For that, go to my website, hhswethepeople.weebly.com, and click on the Summer Assignment tab. On the main page of that, under Your Summer Assignment, you can click on Key Elements of American Constitutionalism, which will direct you to the 8 themes of the U.S. Constitution and American government that you need to be aware of in order to complete your summer assignment and be a successful We the People student. There are descriptions next to each of the 8 concepts, and as well as you go through, if you're having some troubles really understanding and visualizing each of these concepts, you can click on one. So for example, separation of powers, and it will pull up a handy-dandy video, in this case, a crash course government and politics video, that will explain separation of powers and checks and balances. Going back to the main summer assignment page, you will also find a link here to a copy of the U.S. Constitution that you may annotate, highlight, and make comments on so that you can identify each of the 8 concepts necessary to complete your summer assignment and begin your path to becoming a constitutional scholar that will continue throughout your senior year. So once you have this open in Google Drive, the first thing I want you to be aware of is that this is a shared document with everybody in the class. So you don't want to make any comments or annotations on this particular copy because it needs to be nice and new and comment-free for all of your other classmates. With that in mind, what I recommend doing is making a copy of it and moving it to your folder. The first step is to make a copy. Click on File, scroll down till you see Make a Copy, and it will give you the opportunity to save the document under a new name. You'll see that it says Copy of the Constitution there, but since this is going to be my copy that I'm going to use throughout the course of the school year, I'm going to delete Copy of and just keep the name, the Constitution of the United States of America. Hit OK, and in a new tab, your copy of the Constitution will pop up. The next step is to move your copy of the Constitution to your personal folder. Go back to File, scroll down to Move to Folder, click on it, and it should give you the option to move this file into your We the People folder that you created just a few minutes before. Click on that folder and hit move. And now, if you go back to your original page, go back to My Drive, and click on We the People, your last name, you should find your constitution there and ready for you to annotate and become a constitutional expert. Once you have done that, please make sure that you have shared this with me as well. Generally speaking, everything that you put into a shared folder with me will be accessible to me, but it's always good to take double precautions just in case technology decides to be a little bit crazy at any given moment. So, just like with your folder, click on Share, type in my address, meganboimann@gmail.com, and hit Send. Perfect. So, our last step. Your job over the summer is to read the Constitution and to annotate it based on the 8 key concepts that you found on the website that we looked at just before. So let's do one together and let's look at the preamble of the Constitution. The very first thing I notice is that it starts with we the people, not we the states, not we the government, not we the people who are elected into office, but we the people. And that is a perfect example of popular sovereignty. So you have a couple of different options here. You can highlight it and then decide that in order to identify examples of popular sovereignty throughout the Constitution, that you are actually going to change the highlighting to yellow. What I would recommend then is that once you start deciding on different colors or highlighters to use for each of the key concepts, that you create a key for yourself and for me that you can use throughout the school year. So, up at the top, I'm just going to say yellow equals popular sovereignty. My other option is to get rid of that, make everything nice and neat again, and instead of highlighting, which we're going to get rid of here, I can make a comment. You have several different ways to make a comment in Google Drive. The first way is to highlight what you want, click on Insert, and go down to Comment. Here, I can type in popular sovereignty, and then go on my happy merry way. I find that way to be less efficient than your second option. So if we go through again, and I notice that the next part of the Constitution is that I want to talk next about the legislative branch. So if we scroll down a little bit, we'll notice that if you keep going through the legislative branch in Article 1, and you move down to Article 1, Section 8, we have a perfect example of checks and balances, separation of powers, and federalism. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 states that Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imports, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States, but all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. So, since this is 3 or 4 different elements of constitutionalism and one single clause of the Constitution, a comment may be handier. Your second option for commenting is to go up to this little box and insert a comment. Next, type in the elements that you find to be the ones that are the most helpful. So checks and separation of powers, checks and balances, and federalism. Okay, so this has given you a brief refresher or a brief introduction to how to use Google Drive to create annotations and to create folders and files necessary to be a successful We the People expert. Please feel free to email me at meganboimann@gmail.com, or if you go to the Weebly website, you can just click on Contact and fill in your information and your comments and send that to me, and I will respond as soon as possible. Your final opportunity to ask questions comes in the forums of our website. If you go to the website, you'll notice that you have the opportunity to create either new forums or to ask questions. Here, under questions about the summer assignment, you can start a topic asking about anything from how to use Google Drive to greater explanations about what the Constitution means, or to make any clarifications that you may find necessary to not only help yourself in this project, but also to help your classmates. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in August.